Hi, I'm John, and this is an introduction to Code Perspective, a developer tool for looking inside .NET applications. Now, I think the best way to begin is with an example. So here I have a stock ticker application running in my browser, which is included as a sample with the SignalR framework for ASP. You can see when I click Open Market, my local server starts sending stock information to my browser, and the page starts updating. Now, typically, if I wanted to learn how the stock ticker app worked, I would have to start reading the source code and maybe set a few breakpoints. But with Code Perspective, I can get a head start by taking a look at the application visually. What I did was recompile the stock ticker app with Code Perspective, so when the ASP server ran the app, the visualization was started. What you see here are the namespaces, classes, methods, and fields broken down into blocks. Watch what happens when I click Open Market now. Things start lighting up. Orange means a method was hit, green means a class was created, blue means a field was accessed, and so on. So what's actually going on in my stock ticker app? It looks like the bulk of the code analyzed is the SignalR framework, and this small piece here is the actual stock ticker app. So let's zoom in on that. This is a nice overview, but I want to see the order in which things are being called. So I'll switch to the method graph view. Okay, it looks like this update stock prices function is being called periodically, which is in turn calling update stock price. Let's see how the update stock price function works by zooming in and taking a look at the code. Okay, it looks like it's setting the price field to some random number. Makes sense. And if we look at the profiler details, we can see how many microseconds each call to update stock price takes, and why. Let's follow from this function to the setPrice function, and then over to the variable itself. You can see when I put my mouse over the variable, there are 3 values for each of the 3 stocks in the app. It's pretty cool, even the tooltip updates in real time. The graphs in Code Perspective are each useful for different complexity levels. This method graph is okay because we're zoomed into a file, but if that gets a little too crazy, then moving to the class graph will help contain some of that complexity. See, it's a little bit more organized now. You can see the stock ticker class with methods contained inside, making calls to the stock class to update each stock's price. Now, usually to check out the values of a class, we have to break into the debugger and analyze them one at a time. But with Code Perspective, you don't have to do that. We can check out all class instances and their values in real time just by clicking on the class and going over to the Details tab. Here we can see the 3 instances of the stock class and their field values. Down here is the name of each stock and the prices of each, lighting up as their values change, and matching what the server is sending to the browser. Now let's zoom out further so we can see our app talking with the SignalR framework. Okay, now that's a bit crazy. Let's switch to the layer view. In this view, files and namespaces are graphed as well for better organization. We can see our web app DLL with all our stock ticker stuff talking to the SignalR DLL, which is talking to the ASP host DLL. If I wanted to, I could zoom in and check out all the code and all the values of anything here. Now, what's the threading model look like for this application? Usually we have to break into the debugger to look at the call stacks for each thread, one at a time, but even that doesn't tell us the history of what was running before the current call stack. Code Perspective has a view called Threadlines, which is where you can see all the threads running in your application. Each vertical group here is a thread. The columns of each is the call stack, so I can effectively see over time what functions are being called, in what order, and on what thread. I can even filter other views of the program to only show methods that were running on a particular thread. To wrap up this introduction, I'll switch to the Gibson View. It's not exactly practical, but definitely fun to be able to fly through your application like you're in a movie. Code Perspective is a free download from codeperspective.com. I have some demos included with it as well, so even if you don't have any .NET programs, you can still try it out. The source code is available on GitHub, and if you think this is a cool project and want to help take it to the next level, I'm offering a pro version for $25. You can pick it up on the website to show your support. Also working on a bunch of other cool features, like a Visual Studio plugin to integrate better with your source code, and a viewer that works over the network for remote debugging. But always I'm working on anything that improves our understanding of how applications work, because that's been the goal from the beginning. So thanks for watching, and check out codeperspective.com.